Task scheduling is one of the most important concepts of a real-time operating system. The task scheduling algorithm of an RTOS determines which tasks to run and when, so proper configuration of the tasks in your programs is essential to ensure that they run correctly. Welcome to part 3 of our FreeRTOS on the Raspberry Pi RP2040 microcontroller series. This video is going to cover how the task scheduler of FreeRTOS works and how to properly set up the tasks in your program so that everything runs how you want it to. Make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss the next episode in this FreeRTOS series. In previous parts of this series, we configured a VS Code project to enable us to compile and use the FreeRTOS kernel. And we also covered the basics of tasks and how to communicate between tasks using queues. I would recommend watching those two parts before this video. If you want to check those out, I'll leave a link to the playlist down in the video description. The task scheduling algorithm is a software routine that decides which RTOS task should be running at any one time. I might refer to this algorithm as the scheduler throughout this video. There can only be one task running per processor core at any given time, so theoretically the RP2040 can run two tasks truly simultaneously, but that does increase complexity and is a topic for a future video. For now, we're going to use one processor core, so only one task can run at a time. FreeRTOS uses a fixed priority, preemptive scheduling policy with a round-robin time slicing of equal priority tasks. This might sound a bit complicated to begin with, but it becomes a lot more straightforward once we break it down. The fixed priority part means that the scheduler will not permanently change the priority of the task that you've set. The preemptive bit means that the highest priority RTOS task that is able to run will run regardless of when it becomes able to run. Round robin means that tasks with the same priority will take turns running, and time sliced means that the scheduler will switch between tasks of equal priority on each tick interrupt. I will cover what happens at a tick interrupt in a moment. Let's take a look at an example and assume that we have 3 tasks of equal priority running on a single processor core. An RTOS can make it appear as if all 3 tasks are running concurrently, but in fact only one task is run at a time. The rapid switching between tasks makes it appear as if all the tasks are running at once. And this is the round-robin time slicing in effect. The difference between T1 and T2 in this diagram is known as a time slice, with T1 and T2 being tick interrupts respectively. If we look closely at what happens each tick interrupt, we see that as a task is running and a tick interrupt occurs, the kernel runs the scheduling algorithm to determine which task runs after the tick interrupt is complete. A task uses the microcontroller's registers, RAM and ROM, and this makes up what is called the task execution context. The task itself does not know when it is going to be suspended by the kernel and the scheduling algorithm, and it doesn't even know if this has happened. When a task is suspended, the RTOS kernel saves the context of the task, which is things like what it has in memory, the state of registers, and this context is then restored when the task is resumed. This stops the task being interrupted by things like modified registers or other errors that can result from one task using the same memory as a previous task, for example. And this whole process is called context switching. The FreeRTOS kernel handles context switching, so you don't have to worry about it. So far, we have considered states to be either running or not running. And whilst not necessarily false, this is an oversimplification. There are 4 states that a task can take. These states are running, ready, blocked, and suspended. When a task is in the running state, it is currently utilizing the processor, and on a single core processor, it is the only task currently running. A task in the ready state is a task that is able to be executed but is not currently being executed, and this is most commonly because of a task of equal or higher priority is in the running state. A task in the blocked state is currently waiting for a temporal or external event to occur. For example, the vTask delay function will place a task in the blocked state for a defined amount of ticks. Tasks in the blocked state do not use any processor resources and cannot be placed directly into the running state. They must first be placed into the ready state. Finally, the tasks that are in the suspended state cannot be selected to enter the running state, but tasks in the suspended state do not have a timeout like the blocked state. Instead, tasks only enter or exit the suspended state when explicitly commanded to do so through the vtask suspend and vtask resume API calls respectively. This state transition diagram shows the valid task state transitions. It highlights the API calls or events that are required to trigger state changes. Feel free to pause here if you want to take a closer look. Now let's have a look into task priorities. When we create a task, we assign it a priority between 0 and a value set in config max priorities in the FreeRTOS config.h file. Whilst we are in the FreeRTOS config.h file, I'm just going to change the useTimeSlice function from a 0 to a 1. Then this enables time slicing. Lower numbers indicate lower priorities, with 0 being the lowest priority possible. 0 is also the priority of the idle task. The idle task's responsibility is freeing memory allocated by the RTOS to tasks that have already been deleted. The FreeRTOS scheduler will always ensure that the highest priority task that is able to run is the task selected to enter the running state from the ready state. Where more than one task of the same priority is able to run, the scheduler will transition each task into and out of the running state in a round-robin fashion that we described earlier. I think now is a good time for an example, and hopefully this will help your understanding. The code in this example will be linked on our website, linked down in the description. So, we're going to start with our template project that we created in part 1 of this series. You can clone it from GitHub if you want to. Just remember to use the recursive command so that you also download the FreeRTOS kernel. I will leave the clone command down in the description. We are going to create 2 tasks called task 1 and task 2. I'm going to remove the LED code from task 1 and replace it with a printf statement that will print over USB serial to tell us which task is running. For a delay, we are just going to use a for loop, which will give us a roughly 1 second delay. Both tasks are going to have the same code, but obviously task 2 will print task 2 is running to the command line. In the main function, we are going to create task 1 with a priority of 1 and task 2 with a priority of 2. Then we need to enable serial output over USB in the CMakeLists file. Then we're going to build the program and upload it to our Raspberry Pi Pico. Once uploaded, we're going to open a serial monitor and point it towards the Pico. We can see here that only task 2 is running, and this is expected because it has a higher priority than task 1 and is never blocked. If we change the delay function from a for loop to the vtask delay function, then upload this program to the board, we can see that both task 1 and task 2 can run. This is because when the vtask delay function is called, it places the respective task into the blocked state for, well, here we've used 100 ticks, but it could be any delay that you want. This allows task 1, which has a lower priority, to run when the higher priority task 2 is blocked. If something for you to try is to see what happens when both task 1 and task 2 have the same priority. You can use either the for loop or the vtask delay function, and you should see that both task 1 and task 2 are able to run, and this is due to the time slicing of equal priority tasks. So hopefully this video has cleared up how the FreeRTOS task scheduler works. It might be a bit theoretical for this video, but trust me, it gets a bit better from here. You just need a good grasp of the basics. Our next video is going to cover semaphores, so subscribe to make sure you don't miss that. Please let us know if you have any questions down in the comments, and if this video has been helpful, then please do leave us a like and consider subscribing. It really helps us out making content like this. If you have any suggestions for future videos in this series, then leave them down in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.